So do you have what it takes to be in my team? You've got to have your FIFA game on point. Who's winning the tournament then?
I'm winning the tournament. I'm winning the tournament.
Hi and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. I hope you guys have had yourself a great day, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Glad that you can be here with us. And I've got a very special guest joining me today. I've got Afzal. How you doing, Afzal?
I'm good, thanks, Robbie. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. I was down by the Emirates earlier on, just walking around the stadium, soaking it up a bit. It was just nice to be outside, right? But it was nice to be down by the Emirates. Obviously, there's not going to be any fans there when they do start playing there again. But, you know, I think it's quite significant that the football is coming back. And, you know, saw a few people down there who were saying, yeah, you know what, they're really happy it's coming back as well. So, yeah, football is coming back.
Yeah, Robbie, I'm delighted. I've said since day one, I was one of the only very few people to say football should resume and the season should resume when it's safe to do so. And I feel now it is near enough safe to do so. As proven, there's been 0 positive tests in the last round of the testing. So therefore, it is safe to do so, as shown in the Bundesliga and other examples. So I'm delighted, Robbie. I'm all for it. And credit to the Premier League, you know, for coming back.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I copped a lot of stick about 4 to 6 weeks ago because I kept saying that, you know, we need to plan to try and bring the Premier League back. A lot of people were very much against it. But I was always of the thing that we're not talking about now. I mean, 4 to 6 weeks ago, it was bad. But I was like, you know, they need to plan that if we can get that infection rate down, why not try and bring it back behind closed doors, which they're going to do. And we've seen in Germany, you know, that they brought it back quite successfully. They're going to conclude their season there. And then you contrast that with France, where they decided to end their league and they're now looking like they made a big error, you know, like, you know, not bringing it back.
Yeah, Robbie, when I came on a few weeks ago, I was firm on that the Premier League should come back. Like I said, then it wasn't the time now, but I said, give it till mid-June, end June. I think it would be the right time. And I think it is completely the right time. I mean, Robbie, like, you know, I'm glad like the death rate is going down. So, and look, Robbie, people are slowly starting to get back to normal. If you look at parks, beaches, you know, it's all getting back to normal. So, you know, and footballers, they're getting tested twice a week, Robbie. They're getting tested twice a week. So they're in very, very good hands. So I'm all for it coming back. I always was from day one for it coming back, and I'm delighted.
Yeah, no, delighted for definite. And as you said, you know, we've seen them doing it in the Bundesliga. And let's hope we can do it as good. What have you made of, I don't know if you saw any of the games at the weekend, but what do you make about when they sort of pump the noise in? You sort of
to be honest, I only watched the first game, you know, the first Dortmund game, and I watched Bayern versus Dortmund. So I haven't watched anything else because I'm not a huge fan of German football, but I did see the highlights the other day and it was good. I enjoyed that noise, you know. I saw the Bayern Munich highlights and the Dortmund highlights, and yeah, the noise was pretty good, you know. So that could happen in the Premier League. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Yeah, I think it just creates a little bit more, you know, a little bit more of an atmosphere, you know, for the person at home watching it. But looking forward to it coming back. And we're asking the question tonight, where will Arsenal finish? You know, because we've got some tough games ahead and some winnable games. There's a lot of winnable games in there. Where are we going to end up?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's what I've got you on.
I think between 6th and 9th, we're not going to finish above 6th. I think it's Liverpool first, City second, Leicester might edge 3rd, Man U might edge 4th, Chelsea 5th. We can come 6th. I mean, Robbie, we should be finishing ahead of Wolves and Sheffield United. I mean, they've been better than us this season, don't get me wrong, but on an ideal world, Robbie, we should be finishing above them. If we don't, it's embarrassing because one club was in the Championship last season and the other one was in the Championship the year before. So we should be finishing above them. And I think we can because towards the end of the season, you know, credit, Wolves have been fantastic. Sheffield United have been fantastic. I think they've been playing some great football this season, but they might drop off a bit. And this is our chance to, make up for ground lost. It's Spurs who are right neck on neck with us, and they've been in terrible form. However, now they've got Kane and Son back. They've obviously, luck has come with them, obviously. But I think we can finish ahead of Spurs, Wolves, and Sheffield United. But the best I think we can finish is 6th. I don't see us breaking Man U and Chelsea, because I think Chelsea are 8 points ahead of us. We've got a game in hand. United are 5 points ahead of us, and United were hitting
game in hand of them as well.
Yeah, we got a game in hand with them, but they've got their players back. Rashford's back, Pogba's back, and they're slowly hitting top form. But 6th, Robbie, it's obviously at the beginning of the season I wouldn't have taken it, but when we were 11th in December, you know what? That's what we got to take,
Well, look, I'm asking people here tonight as well. Let me do a couple of super chats before, but that's the general question. Where can we finish? Ali says, Robbie, I remember in 2014 you did an interview with Thierry Henry. Back then you mentioned that you can't release it because he was working on Sky due to copyright. Is it possible to release it now? No, we still can't release that. We discussed that before, actually, but we can't. Walter White says, you have to receive a punch. What's this got to do with where we're going to finish? You have to receive a punch off of either Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson or Frank Bruno. Who's it going to be? Jesus Christ. Afzal, you answer that.
None.
Huh?
None.
Exactly. This guy here saying, Coach Jordash is saying we will finish 6th. Malachi Beckford is saying 5th.
Realistic. 6th, you're talking realistic.
Arsenal 14 forever says 4th. Abdul says 6th or 7th. Pack says, realistically speaking, since Arteta has come and boosted the team's confidence and morale, and if we're able to get a win draw against City, I see us finishing 5th. And 5th could get us into the Champions League. I know that City have launched their appeal, but it could get us into the Champions League. You know what? The thing is about Afzal, right, is that nobody at this moment in time knows who's going to react best to no fans being in the ground. Now, if we look at what's been going on in the Bundesliga, the big teams have fared very well with no fans. Bayern, the talent shines through. So maybe that might be something of advantage to Arsenal, because let's be real about it. Even though Sheffield United, for instance, have been having a much better season than us and they've been brilliant, Arsenal got a better team than and squad. Would you agree?
Yeah, we do have a...
Wolves have got a good team, but their squad, squad's not great because they play with a very small squad. Now they're going to have games back to back to back to back. Any injuries or any problems like that, that might stretch Wolves a bit. So that's 2 that we could chase down. Tottenham, like you said, they were on poor form. They've got those players coming back, but they might not be fully... I mean, Kane's been out for a long time. So it's going to have to take him a little time to get back into the flow of things. Manchester United, yes, I think definitely a danger. Chelsea have been indifferent all season. Any team, really, that is able to go on a good run could get into that top 4. Even Leicester, even though, they're sitting pretty in 3rd place at the moment, I still think they're quite vulnerable as well, due to the fact, again, that, they've been playing all season 1 game a week. Now, all of a sudden, back to back to back to back. And again, this squad is not deep. If they had a couple of injuries to key areas, let's just say, I mean, are you going to be able to play, for instance, Vardy week in, week out? You're probably not, are you?
Yeah, that's the thing, Robbie. Like, the most likely teams we can chase is obviously the ones more nearer to us: Wolves, Sheffield United, and Spurs. Chelsea are just, let's be realistic. We're playing Man City first game of the season. The chances of us losing that, obviously you never know, is pretty high. So if we lose that, you look at it like we're 8 points behind Chelsea with 9 to go. That's where I feel where the gap is a bit too much. That would be 13 behind Leicester. That's too much. So we can look at United, right? 5 points behind them with 9 to go. That is a possibility. We can catch them. But I feel that with them getting Bruno in their side, and Rashford coming back, I think they might go on a decent run. And they've played all their tough fixtures. The only team they've got to play, well, obviously no one's easy in the Premier League, but they've played Man City twice, they've played Liverpool twice, they've played Chelsea twice, they've played us twice. They've got to play Spurs the first game, obviously. And United, actually, to be honest, their record against the big teams are better than their record against the lower teams. They've only lost once this whole season, twice this whole season against the big six. They won at City away, they won at Chelsea away, they drew against Liverpool. So they've actually got a really good record. We beat Tottenham. They've got a good record against the top six. For me, they're a very inconsistent side. You don't know what you're going to get with them, to be honest. Same as Chelsea. Like 1 week they'll have a great result, and then 1 week they'll lose at home to someone. But like I said, they're 8 and 5 points clear, and I don't see us getting 8 points on Chelsea, and I don't see us getting 5 points on Man U because, like I said, they've got their players back and everything. But I do see us getting those 3 points in Sheffield United, those 3 points in Wolves, and there's 1 point on Spurs, and I think we can come sixth.
Okay. Amory says we have the second highest accumulated point score in 2020. Liverpool being first. We're on good form, so fourth is possible. When you put it like that. Sorry?
No, I was going to say, yeah, we've won 4, drawn 4, lost none. We haven't done bad, obviously, in 2020, but we've got some hard games. We've got Man City to play, we've got Spurs to play, we've got Liverpool to play, we've got Wolves to play, we've got Leicester to play. 5 of our next 9 games are against teams ahead of us.
Yeah, we have to hit the ground running.
I'm saying, like, I don't think we're going to get 8 points on Chelsea.
Pranav says we'll finish 8th, ahead of Tottenham in 9th. Every player in the league will be itching to play. It might be like the new season optimism, where every team plays well, but the big teams have pressure. But Pranav, I feel that the pressure is going to be less for those big teams, because I'm just looking at what I've seen in the Bundesliga. You've seen those big teams go to what would normally be a very hostile place, like Bayern at the weekend going to Bayer Leverkusen. That would be a hostile big game. They went there. There's no fans. They just absolutely battered Leverkusen. And I can see a lot more of that in the Premier League as well. I think it's going to benefit those big clubs. I really do. Even those games like normally against Norwich and those sort of teams where, the atmosphere, I mean, we're playing Norwich at home, but all right, let's say Brighton. Their fans would have been right up for that game. They would have been pumped. It means a lot to them. They're scrapping to stay in the division. And then now they're going to be there with no fans. Those are winnable games for Arsenal.
I agree with you. Like, last 2 seasons since Brighton have been in the league, we lost the first season to them and we drew last season. Whereas this season, when we play them, we should be going 3 points. With no fans to watch them. So that gives us the advantage. Even Wolves away. We lost 3-1 last year, right?
Yeah.
Their fans, they've got loud fans, but they've got no fans. So Southampton away as well. We've got some, tricky away games where over the past few years we haven't won, for example, Wolves and Brighton. But now we could go in there thinking, even the FA Cup game against Sheffield United, right? When we drew them, I was like, they're probably favourites, they are probably favourites because we played them this season, we lost there, and their fans would get right behind them. But now they aren't favourites, in my opinion, because there's no one there to, rally them on.
Trent Singh says, would you guys take Thiago Silva? He won't be renewing his contract at PSG after this season. I would not re-sign Luiz and get Silva. Silva's like, what's he, 30, sort of 34, 35 now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's You take him for like a year, maybe, just for like a year. He ain't coming.
Audi Cup says Chelsea are going to be so far ahead of Spurs and Arsenal. Spurs are broke, and Arsenal will only be signing 4th division players. North London should be worried. All the Spurs fans getting gassed the Chelsea fans getting gassed at the moment because of some of the signings that they're making.
They're the only club that has been spending. They bought 2 big signings.
Yeah. Ahmed says, I don't know where this confidence always comes from. The reality check will come at the end of the season when Arsenal finish 8th or 9th.
That won't surprise me as well.
David Smith says, think you could push for 5th, but I think 6th is more likely, mainly due to the other team's strengths, not weaknesses. And that's from a Norwich fan. Timothy says, Arsenal will finish 5th. Just look at how Arteta is going about his business, meticulous, calculative, attentive to detail. You imagine what he has achieved in lockdown. City game will be a test. If he went and got a result against City, wow, that could be the sort of game that could really push Arsenal onto something really big.
Yeah, it could, but it's a big if. We've been saying this for years, Robbie. Every time we go to City, Liverpool, Chelsea, it's like, if we do this.
Yeah, but now with no fans.
Now it's a bit different, Like I said, they've got no fans, but I think their quality will show probably. You know how it is usually when we play against these big sides. It's just we seem to free.
Yeah, Isaac says, shout out to Afzal. We ain't going to finish 6th. We're going to finish 5th because we are Arsenal. If only it was so simple as that. We're the Arsenal. We're finishing 5th. Alpha X says, who says United won't flop?
They might flop, but with Fernandes there, with Rashford there, I think they seem to getting slowly. I seem to build up something slowly. Remember, in the first 10 games, Robbie, they were awful. I remember the first 8 games, they'd won 2, drawn 3, and lost 3, and everyone was like, no chance. I even thought no chance top 4. But his results against the big sides, has turned things around for him. Like I said, they beat City just before lockdown. They beat Chelsea. They beat Spurs. They've had some big results. So I don't see. Yeah, they didn't beat us. They were awful against us. Yeah. But I don't see them collapsing.
Okay. Kevin says this one is hard to predict because there are too many changes affecting the game. But if we can get 5th on the table, we're ready to challenge for the title next season. Oof.
No chance. No. Impossible.
I don't know about that.
It's impossible.
Ryan says, I'm a Leicester fan and I'm worried about us making the top 4. It'll be like a new season form-wise. P.S. Chilwell is overrated. Don't believe the hype. There's a lot of so many Leicester fans have said that to me about Chilwell, that he's all right. They don't, they're all up for selling him.
I think, you know what, Leicester, all right, they are 8 points ahead of United in 5th, but you know what? They've been a bit rocky lately, and like you said, 2 games a week for them. They're not used to having 2 games a week. They've got a great first team, but they haven't got a huge squad.
Yeah.
If they start 1 or 2 iffy results, they might just drop down a bit,
Yeah, I mean, if you looking at Leicester's last 5 games, Afzal,
yeah,
they've drawn 2, lost 2, and won only 1 of those.
I'm saying, Robbie, they could actually drop out of that top 4, and Chelsea and Man U could get it. Like I said, they've got 8 points on Man U, so you got to look at it with that 8 points with 9 to go. It's not likely, but a couple of defeats straight away, they're in big trouble.
And then you look at Chelsea, they've drawn 2, lost 1, and won 2. So again, not the great.
No one hit. We've I think in the last, because we've won our last 3, so out of them we've probably been on the best run. But we remember there were 3 home games. They were all at home. So
Wolves drawn 3, lost 2 in their last 5.
Sheffield United.
Yeah, Sheffield United lost 1, won 3. Drawn.
Spurs obviously, but
Spurs 1-2, lost 2, drawn 1.
Yeah, we've been on the best form, but it's now all depends on how squads will cope with the 2 fixtures a week on remaining fixtures. You know, some will have harder than easy. I think we've got some hard fixtures. Like I said, we've got 5 teams above us in the next 9 games, and it's just there's no taking time to get off the block. You got to be off the blocks from game 1. Simple as that.
Yeah. Team Breezy says we probably got the hardest run in, and if we get Champions League, believe me, we could be challenging for the title in the next 2 years. Need to sign some defenders, though, he's saying. Listen, remember as well, I keep saying this, I've just got a sneaky feeling that 5th place could get you into the Champions League. Because City have got a 2-year ban, yeah? They've got a 2-year ban.
I think it might get overturned. I've got a feeling it might get overturned.
Yeah, but then also what could happen is it might not get overturned, but it might be reduced.
Yeah, to 1 year.
So remember Chelsea, a lot of people remember when Chelsea got their transfer ban. Everyone's like, these Chelsea, the lawyers, they still got the ban. It just got a bit reduced. Now, if City still got the ban and it was reduced, because remember, it's 2 years.
Yeah.
So it could be that they say, well, okay, all right, we're taking that into consideration.
We're 1 year.
For 1 year. But that would still let people in this year. So...
yeah, I think that it could be a possibility that they could say 1 year ban, and yeah, that means top 5 get Champions League. So then that means we're 5 points behind with 9 to go, but we've got to be on a good run. I don't know. With the players we've got, I don't think we can make up that much ground.
Okay.
Talking about Arteta, this is the players.
Arsenal 14 forever says, Afzal, bro, we are finishing 4th, not 5th. I'm telling you, Aubameyang, Saka, Martinelli, Leno. He says Saka again. Saka's been played twice. And Tierney will carry us. Don't worry. We will beat City 3-2 and draw with Liverpool 2-2. You heard?
Yeah.
What are you laughing about? You heard what the man said?
I like the confidence. The way he's writing in capitals, I like the confidence.
Yeah, because he's trying to emphasize the point to you.
That will be
negative. Right? Patriot says, big up Afzal and Sultan Robbie. I ain't been called a Sultan before. He says, I live in Boston and I will fly over to London and drive El Neni, Ozil, Inspector Lewis, and Mustafi to the airport. Out with the dead wood. He's getting rid of George Lewis. He ain't even come in yet. Music Cloud, no copyright says, why is Afzal so negative?
I said we'll finish 6th. That to most fans is positive, People are saying we're finishing 8th or 9th. I'm being positive by saying we're
positive is people want to hear 4th.
Listen, that's not happening. I'm sorry. That ain't happening.
Andrew Chow says, you say restart will favour the big teams, right? But the Premier League has about 8 big teams. So what then for Arsenal? Your poor first half form will cost you 4 out of 5. I'm just, and we're one of those teams that seem to get affected a lot when we go to those clubs. Like, we've seen it. We went to Watford, peppering them up, and then they get a goal back. Their fans are up, and then next minute, we could have lost that game.
Watford,
record at Brighton, this season earlier on at Norwich,
United, everywhere.
Yeah, we seem to be one of those teams that don't handle that pressure great. And then we've had a lot of referee decisions. That's going to be another interesting thing, Afzal, to see what happens, how the referees, because there's no fans to get on their back and to influence decisions. Is that going to benefit us or will that go against us? That's going to be interesting as well.
Depends, just depends really.
Abba says, Robbie, would you want to play in the Europa League next season? People forget that our youngsters got better because they played there a lot. I'm getting fed up with the Europa League, but when being honest, it's for a club like Arsenal, we need to be in Europe. Some form of European football. And you do always have the hope that you could win it and that gets you into the Champions League. And it's always this season, the one good thing to come out of the Europa League has been the development of some of our young players, like Saka, like Willock. those two in particular, and Martinelli as well, especially Martinelli, they have really benefited from playing in the Europa League, haven't they?
Yeah, I think Saka's been the find of the season for us. Obviously, he came on the scene in that first Europa League game, and since now he's a first-team player. I mean, he's one of my first names on the team sheet. I mean, he's been in our top 3 players of the season. Second, I think he's been our second best player this season. I'd say Aubameyang first, Saka second, Martinelli third. Those 3 have been our 3 best players this season.
And like I said, we probably wouldn't have seen Saka, Martinelli as much had it not been for the Europa League.
Exactly, yeah.
Guna Gamer TV says every team has got players coming back from injury, but so do we. The good thing for us is the teams we have to play are the ones that are above us. So our fate is truly in our own hands. That's a good way of looking at it. That's a very positive way of looking at it. But do our players have that in them to say to themselves,
Exactly. It's over the years they've proved they haven't. I mean, in crunch games, big games, like when we go away, like to Man City and Liverpool, we just automatically write it off as a defeat. But this year we're playing them both. The rest of the season we're playing them both behind closed doors. I mean, we'll be playing Liverpool at the Emirates. So and Liverpool will have eased off by then. We don't know. They might be playing the kids. Because Klopp likes to give other players a chance. So
even the kids are good. We saw that.
The kids are brilliant. Their whole squad is brilliant, but we've got a more chance of beating them with the kids than with playing, Henderson and Salah and Mane and Firmino and Van Dijk. So, yeah.
Hussein says, Guna from Egypt, keep this squad and get a proper DM and a proper centre-back, a winger, and we compete next season, he says. Trent says, come on, Afzal. We're all on a level playing field coming back. Nobody has form. Even injured players will be back. Top 4 is up for grabs, defo.
Yeah, we're all on a level playing field. But what I'm trying to say is that people are forgetting we're already points behind. The season's not starting from 0 points. We're like on a -8 from Chelsea. You know what I mean? It's like there's 9 games to go and we're -8. You got to look at it like that. Or -5, whatever Man U or Chelsea are catching.
Asher2 says, hello, Robbie. Did you know that Arsenal got robbed 12 points and United benefited 14? We had a good season, but people only talk about the points. VAR costed us. Bruno had good games and United are better now. That is actually, before everybody starts jumping on him and having a go at him and saying, oh, yeah, that's actually true, isn't it? VAR, it's been proven that we've been one of the teams that have really suffered because of the poor VAR.
Yeah, we have. But other teams have as well. We're not the only ones, No,
but I think they've done a table where they said that we've been the worst hit.
Oh, is it? Okay, I didn't realize that. Okay.
I think it was us and I forgot the other team. It was us and Liverpool were one of the teams that really benefited from VAR. Andrews keeps coming back at us today. He says Arsenal missed a big chance by going out of the Europa. If they had gone through, would have had another shot in August rather than having all their eggs in the Premier League. That is very true. Mind you, we had both of those chances last year when we should have done it. We should have done it in the league last year and we missed out on it then.
Oh, last year we had 2 chances. We're through to the final. Okay, finals are 50-50 versus Chelsea. We blew that. But the league should have done it. Forget the final, right? Chelsea deserved to win that one. But the league, we should have easily come in the top 4. We bottled it. We just messed around the last 2 games. When we lost at home to Palace, we drew to Brighton, we lost to Wolves away, we lost to Leicester away, all in the last 5 games. We completely bottled it. This year was bad, though. We should have beaten Olympiacos.
Derek says, Afzal is too negative, mate. Because everything is possible, man. We're Arsenal. So definitely, I'm optimistic we're going to make the top 4.
Okay, but we haven't seen proof of
that. Afzal, they're coming for you, man.
Well, but like Robbie, it's all good saying all this, and then when we start again, and if we lose the first, if we start dropping points, then people will be like, oh, same old, it's like.
Ola says, I have no doubt.
No doubt. Where's this coming? I have no doubt.
Etihad. But we'll do that and lose to Brighton. But he says, I think we'll sneak fourth. Afzal is right. Fourth is going to be tough.
I think we'll lose to City, but we'll beat Brighton. That's what I think.
Right. It's all I know is that if we beat City, that could be one of those.
Playing City, we're playing them. I'd rather play them this right now than the City in the last few seasons. I think they've been awful this season, Robbie. I think they've been awful at the back. I think Pep has been exposed this season. I think Pep has shown weakness this season. Pep, for me, he has, because Laporte got injured, he hasn't adapted to that. For example, Klopp, when Klopp loses a player, he adapts to it and he deals with it and he gets results. Pep, he lost Laporte and he's not adapted to it at all. So there's a weakness in Pep, that we've seen this season.
Well, we ain't seen it many times. He's
a world-class manager. For me, he's the second best manager in the world. Klopp's the best manager in the world. Pep's the second best manager in the world. Yeah, but at the moment, but because I've been no. Klopp, Robbie, you know why? Klopp has built a team from average to the top. Pep took over Man City when they were at the top. You know what I mean? Pep is class. Over the past 10 years.
But when Pep took over City, he had to rebuild that team.
He did. But Pep had all the money in the world to spend as well.
Look what Pep pulled off last season. The way they came back and overtook Liverpool. I don't know, man. He's gone to Germany. He's won it. Won it. And, yeah, you are right. He's always had loads of money, but
do you think? I'll ask you a question.
The way he plays football, I've never seen a guy that he just dominates every time. He could play Barcelona, and he doesn't change his style. He's still on the front foot against them.
All right, but
he's good. He's good, man.
Pep is world class. For me, he's the second best manager in the world. But if I had to ask you a question, has Pep done better at City or has Klopp done better at Liverpool? Remind you where Liverpool and City were before they took over. Pep hasn't won a Champions League with Man City, whereas Klopp won with Liverpool, and he's going to win the league this season by bigger margin than what Pep did. Yeah,
but then Pep's won more titles, and
Klopp's won one, but Klopp's won one Champions League, and he's taken. Remember, he was 8th. Liverpool were 8th when Klopp struggling. Remember, they had players who did they have? They had all these players they had all these Skirtle at the back and
That's why you don't give up hope on Arsenal, because you never know.
Yeah, but the thing is that, I've got nothing against Arteta, but Klopp was I remember, I specifically remember, before Klopp came to Liverpool, when he was available in 2015, I said, we need to get this guy, because I was following him in Dortmund, and I knew the way he overturned Bayern. Remember, he won 2 consecutive Bundesligas. He got to the Champions League final. I was praying for this guy. I was like, this guy will win us a title in 4 years. And when Liverpool signed him, I said he'll win Liverpool a title in 4 years.
The thing is, because we could have got Pep as well. Either of those two would have been. I actually think that when I look on it, Pep's style would have suited Arsenal perfectly coming in after Wenger. I mean, it was a massive error by Arsenal holding Wenger for so long.
They probably have to pay Pep a huge salary and promise him a lot of money, whereas Klopp, I feel, budget. Last season, Liverpool didn't spend a single penny. This season, they're hardly going to spend. I mean, look at the Werner thing. But I think Klopp will deal with that. We're spending little money and still get the best. Whereas Pep, he will get the best of his players, but he needs to spend a bit, That's the difference.
Okay, Lowstar Londoner says, Nketiah scores goals. Don't overlook the obvious. Development, progress, and opportunity for young players needs to continue. Martinelli, Saka, Tierney, Torreira, and Nketiah rebuild with our young players. By the way, anybody out there, who's better? Because that set a debate going. Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp? Who's the better manager overall? Greg Football TV says, hey, Rob and Afzal, after the 2020-21 season, it will be 17 years since we won the league, but will be the second time in our history. 1971. So he's trying to look for omens there.
How do you know we might win the league next year?
Yeah, that's what he's looking for, omens there that we could possibly win it. Arsenal Forever says Klopp. Tomek says Klopp.
They know.
Rich says Klopp. Stan Kroenke says Pep. Mine says Pep Guardiola. Archana says Pep. Dr. Viraj says Pep is better. Funny Thing says Pep. Bert says Pep. Amaras says Pep overall. Ebos 2003 says Pep over the hype merchant. He's not a hype merchant. He's a
no, he's not a hype merchant, but better. Like Klopp.
That's the United fan there. McLeet says Jurgen Klopp. So it's quite an even split. They're both fantastic managers.
Pep's always taken over the best. Nothing wrong with that. Like Barcelona were the best. He kept them the best. Bayern Munich were the best. He kept them the best. Man City were the best. He's kept them around the best. Dortmund were not the best. They were mid-table when Klopp took them over. He took them to the best. Liverpool were outside the top 4. Klopp's now taken them to the best. That's where I feel the difference is.
Yeah, it's really close. I mean, you've got to remember. Look at he's also won the league with 100 points. Last season they won every single domestic trophy, and had it not been for VAR being very unlucky with that VAR, I reckon they could have went on and won that. They could have went on and won that Champions League as well. Yeah, I mean they were very good last year.
Would have beaten them because they always beat Man City. You know, they always have this thing. Pep freezes when he plays Liverpool for some reason. Like over the past few years, he freezes when he plays Liverpool. I don't know what.
Enough of them teams. I want to know about us. When are we going to be like them, right? Actually, a lot of people forget that Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets were just regular youth players and part of an average third-place Barca team when Pep arrived. That's true. He was the one who made them world class. That was true. They were going for his. Remember, he took over from Rijkaard.
No, of course. Look what Pep's done. He's made Sterling into a great player. He's made De Bruyne into a great player. He's made Mahrez even better. Pep does make good players turn world class. Look what he's done with Sterling and De Bruyne. But like I said, look what Klopp's done with Henderson.
More important for me to know is that Pep effect going to rub off?
Hopefully. On what I see is that with Arteta, right, his style is good. I like his style of play, but he needs the right players for that style. So it's not his fault. Like, it's not, he's come in, look, let's put it this way. Arteta's come into the worst Arsenal side in how many years? Probably 30 years? Since the 80s, right? So Arteta's got an even harder job to do than any other manager would do. So you've got to look at it as Arteta's coming in against all odds. Now, the board need to give Arteta the right players to work with. Unfortunately, in this environment, the virus, that might not happen because this club is self-sustaining, so they might not spend the money required. But if Arteta does have the players, required, then, why not? But then he needs to also get his team selections, I think, more accurate, in my opinion.
You say the team's the worst Arsenal team for a long time, and the stats would back that up because of where we are at the moment. But Afzal, were you at the start of the season, and when you look around, I was doing a little thing the other day looking at the team. We know, as I said, we know league position-wise the worst for years. At the start of the season, when you saw up front Pepe, Lacazette, Aubameyang, Ceballos coming in the midfield, Torreira. All right, we know there's problems at the back, but Tierney coming in. Didn't you think to yourself, that's not a bad team, man? That's a better team than we had last year and the year before. So don't you think that a manager who can get them to come in and really play to the best of their ability, which is something that obviously Emery did not do. That seems far from being a finished article, but there's a lot of very good players in there.
Thing is that Tierney's looked like a good prospect, but we've not seen enough of him to say how great he's going to be. I mean, he's been very on and off with his injuries. My most impressive signing has been Martinelli. I think he hasn't put a foot wrong since he's joined. That's why I was a bit upset when after the Burnley game Arteta started dropping him. I'm being disappointed with Pepe so far. I don't think he's hit the ground running at all. You know, I think.
But what the point I'm trying to make is we know there's some players in there that haven't hit the ground running. But now that Arteta's in charge, now this team is not as bad on paper as where their league position suggests to me. I look at that team and there's a lot of very good players in that team. Pepe hasn't hit the ground running, but we know his quality, right? Ceballos is a quality, one of the best young players, wasn't he, in Europe before he came to Arsenal, right? Torreira, a lot of people really rating him before he came to Arsenal. Tierney, as I said, lots of ratings for him. Saliba's coming in, again, rated as one of the best young defensive centre-backs around. If Arteta, and this is the point I'm trying to make, if Arteta can get the best out of those players, do a Pep where he gets the best out of those players, we're in a false position. Surely he can get us a lot higher. We're not talking about challenging for the league yet. We know, but I'm just saying with this team as it is, this team should be doing better.
Yeah, but then he needs to get the team selections, I think, more accurate. Like, for example, Torreira started really well under him, but then he got dropped. So Torreira should be, I'm not his biggest fan, but then he should be in the starting 11 because he started well under him. Ceballos needs to start more often as well. Martinelli needs to start more often. Saka needs to be a nail-on starter. You know, I think Willock, I think, needs to play a bit more as well. Willock showed decent potential this season. So I think what Arteta needs to do is that he needs to get his team selections more accurate, play the best possible 11 we have, and then maybe we can improve a bit, you know? We can improve. But, Robbie, I still think we need a better... I've been saying this for years to you, you know that. I think we still need some better players. I mean, I don't rate some of the players as high as a lot of fans, or a lot of our fans do.
All right, what do we need?
I think I'm happy with the goalkeeper. We keep the goalkeeper. I think we need one right back, one centre back at the back.
Mm-hmm.
We need a top class defender, centre back that is, and a good right back. I think we need a proper playmaker, a proper CAM, and I think we need a top CDM as well. 4 players.
That's 4 players. It's not like they overhauled our whole team. So that's what I'm trying to say.
But I mean, top players, like, for example, I'd be Leno at the back and the keeper. Then I'd get a new right back. Then I would give Saliba a chance. But we don't know how good Saliba is. He could be good. He might not be. We don't know, right? People saying they've never seen him play in English football. So I'll give Saliba a chance. You get another centre back. Then you put Tierney left back. Then in midfield, you get a top CDM. You get a top CDM in. Beside him, you play Ceballos. We don't know if he's going to stay or go. Just say, for example, he's going to go. So we get a CDM, play him alongside maybe Torreira. Then we get a CAM in. Someone like, I know it's not going to happen, but someone like Grealish, Maddison. I'm just giving examples. Grealish, Maddison. So Partey can be a CDM. Just say Grealish or Maddison can be a CAM. And then up front, you know, you play Aubameyang, Martinelli, and Saka.
I mean,
I know you're going to say Pepe. You've left out Pepe, but at the moment, these 3, Aubameyang, Saka, and Martinelli, have been more promising than Pepe. I've seen more from Saka and Martinelli than I have from Pepe. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, right? You look at it and like you said, it's not a complete overhaul. A lot of people always say, right, get rid of literally the whole team. And I always say, no, there's some good players there. I mean, and you could fix that team. You could have that team challenging with good management that hopefully Arteta will bring. And about, like you said, about 4 players. If you, let's just say, for instance, right, and this is dreamland thing now, but if it was a club with real ambition, it wouldn't be impossible. If you said, right, you're going to get in Koulibaly, Hakimi at right back is that right back at Dortmund who's looked really, really impressive, right? And Partey as that defensive midfielder, and say Kai Havertz. I mean, it would be, you're talking over 200 million, but that would enhance that because there's good players in that team. Very good players, but
yeah, but
it's a dream.
It's a dream. It's a dream. But
I mean,
I always said, Robbie, I'm not going to judge Arteta until the end of the season, and the end of the season hasn't happened. As you've seen, I'm very low on my. I don't say much about him. I don't say he's shit. I don't say he's great. I'm very, a bit balanced with him because I'm going to give him. I said I'll give him until the end of the season in a transfer window, like to see what. Then I can make an opinion on him.
I mean, to me, what he's going to have to do, obviously, I just came out there with the absolute dream signings. Yeah. But what Arsenal are going to have to do is be very cunning in the transfer market to find that player that by the end of next season could be the Koulibaly. That player who by the end of next season could be that Havertz. You know what I mean? Those guys that maybe they're not the golden boy players right now, but the recruitment team are going to have to really do their job.
Our recruitment team,
Martinelli.
The thing is that our recruitment team has been awful in the last few years. I mean, we've signed some Robbie. We spent some money on some awful players in the last few years.
Guys now, though?
Say that again?
But what about the guys now that are doing it? Edu and Sané? Made some good signings.
We're going to have to obviously give them a chance. But last season, Robbie, I said this before the season started, and I'll say this now. I think we wasted 150 million. I mean, I would have never bought Pepe. I would have bought a centre-back instead of Pepe. I mean, I'm not saying Pepe is rubbish, but he really hasn't impressed me, like I think he's been a bit, like I said, French league and English league is very different, right? It takes time for someone to adapt, fair enough. But Pepe is like, he's very one-dimensional. I see him trying to skill players, but not get anywhere with,
I disagree with you. I think, and I've said it, some people have criticised me for it. I think that this is going to be a guy that's going to grow into the league. Right, I see lots and lots and lots of ability, but his decision making sometimes is poor. Right, that can only improve under somebody like Arteta. And also, I think that this season, the way in which Emery handled him, I always remember that game when he scored the 2 goals. Was it against the 2 free kicks? Was it against Vitoria?
Vitoria.
Yeah, I know you got your photographic memory, right? Against Vitoria, and the very next game he didn't even play him. I was like, what's going on? You know what I mean? So he's been handled like that for most of the season. I want to see him get a run of games. I think he's got a lot of ability, but it's taking him time to settle in.
I think Emery was a harder manager, like a tough manager. I mean, when Ozil was playing bad, he'd drop him. When Pepe was playing bad, he'd drop him. Emery wouldn't be afraid to make key decisions like this. He wasn't.
I felt sometimes he didn't give.
I think Arteta might be afraid to make decisions like this because he's a young, inexperienced new manager. I think he'd be a bit scared to drop the likes of Pepe and Ozil when they're not playing well.
But he's already done that, though. He's already left them out when they've not been.
He left Ozil out once, but Pepe has not left out. Pepe, he did at the beginning, and then he's been starting him every game since.
He's playing all right since he's been starting him. He deserves to start.
He had good games against United and Newcastle, but like the Olympiacos game, he annoyed me a lot that night.
Yeah, that's one. But you've got to give this guy a run of games, and that's the thing. He's not been, had a chance. I feel this season, not enough chances. Josh says, "Shake, Robbie, shake now, Robbie." Klopp has a winning record versus Pep. Also, you've been smoking with troops. The best Arsenal will finish is 6th with games that you have left. Listen, we got to believe, mate. We got to believe. Arsenal 14 says, Afzal, which player has impressed you then?
Martinelli, Saka, 2 new players that have impressed me the most.
Okay.
They impressed me.
RZNO AFC says, I think we really have to give our young players the Premier League restarts, especially since we are going to have to change up the whole squad more frequently, plus 5 subs. The youngsters show more fight and desire. That's another thing that's going to be, influence what's going to go on is the fact that you can have 5 subs now as well, isn't it?
So, yeah, so Robbie, this would be my starting 11 against Man City. Leno in goal. I'd play Maitland-Niles right back. Centre-back. We don't have any centre-backs. This is the thing. Like, when I don't like any of our centre-backs. Oh. Luis and who?
Mari.
Oh, yeah, I play Luis, Mari. Okay, so Maitland-Niles right back. Luis and Mari centre-back. Left back, Tierney, if he's fit. And then in midfield, I'd go for Torreira, Ceballos, Willock, and then I'd go for Aubameyang, Martinelli, Saka up front.
No Bellerin.
No Bellerin. No, I'd maybe because someone was telling me Niles had a good game the other day, so I'd stick him in. Apparently in this, well, no one. No one even watched it. But Niles, Maitland-Niles has, he's a guy. Is one game he impresses me, one game I'm like, what is he doing in there? So I think, but he needs a consistency of games, to start. He needs a bit of some consistency. So I'd give him a shot there because Bellerin, he's too inconsistent and he's always injured, and you don't know what you're going to get from him. So,
okay. Darren says Pepe has the most talent in our squad. He has a potential to be one of the world's best. He does have to show it. I do agree with Afzal is that he's been bit part, but I do see the talent there, and I do see a play, and we've got to give him a chance. Afzal, got to give the guys. Thierry first season, Robert Pires first season, Dennis Bergkamp.
Of course, I'm going to give Pepe a chance, and Arteta was nowhere near my first choice, but I'm going to give him a chance. We might as well. I'm going to give him a chance. I'm not all for deciding after 10 games if he's doing bad or if he's doing good. I'm going to give all of them a chance.
Ella says, question for you both. If Klopp or Pep was the manager, do you think we'd be in 9th position? No, we wouldn't.
Obviously not.
No, I mean, where would we be? Where would you say, Afzal, we'd be if they was in charge?
We won't be winning the league. With this current squad, we'd be with Klopp.
Top 4.
With Klopp 4th. With Pep.
With both of them 4th.
With Klopp 3rd, maybe. With Pep 4th. Yeah. Top 4. But not anywhere near the title, but we'd be top 4 with them.
We wouldn't be winning the title, but with both of them, we'd be in the top 4.
In the top 4.
Because honestly, if you look at under Unai Emery in particular, and then when Freddie Ljungberg took over as well, we were terrible.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that, to me, Arsenal should not be in 9th with the squad that we've got. When that squad was put in place at the start of the season, we were all like, that's a good squad. The defence, we were all like, still worried about the defence. But we looked around and we were like, that squad should not be in 9th.
I think it should probably be in about 6th at least. 6th.
It should be higher than 6th.
6th. I still think we've got
2 teams there, right? There's 2 squads this season that have so massively underachieved. It's unbelievable. And that's Arsenal and Manchester United. So you rewind back to the start of the season, when you looked at those squads, you were like, hey, you looked at United squads, you was like, they look good. They've sorted out their defence by bringing in Maguire and what's his name, the right back, Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
They've got Pogba. You thought, wow, that's a good squad. You looked at Arsenal, you're like, defence is still ropey, but they got a really dangerous attack. They got midfield's looking decent. Our midfield's been shocking.
Rob,
midfield in the Premier League.
Before the season, I predicted we'd come 5th. I didn't think we'd come top 4. I predicted we'd come 5th. So
there's no way Chelsea this season, with all with the transfer ban and stuff like that, they should not be finishing above us. So that's what I'm saying. We've really failed this. I mean, the season ain't over yet.
Because that's where my point comes to, that we overrate our players. We think our players are better than they actually are, and some of the managers this season haven't done a great job.
This guy says, Robbie, please don't bring Afzal here again because he's so annoying. How can he say that Pepe is rubbish? He didn't say Pepe is rubbish, by the way. He said, how can he say that Pepe is rubbish? We paid 72 million for him and he's played under 3 different managers. That is true, Afzal. He's played under 3 different managers. Yeah. Afzal did not say he was rubbish. He said he'd been disappointed in him. And we will bring Afzal again because I always like Afzal. Afzal tells it as he feels. He's not looking for popularity. He tells it as he feels. And that's what I like about him. But
the things I've said over the years have been correct. Say that again?
He has played for a new player coming into this team. That guy makes a good point. 3 different managers.
It's true. I mean, you need time to adapt under certain managers. So that's why I said I'm going to give Pepe time. But I didn't say he was rubbish. But this does go back to the fact where, Robbie, over the past few years, I've been very critical of players. You know, since I'd say 2017, I've said some of these players aren't good enough, and we've not made top 4 since. So, you know, maybe people need to start realizing it is the players, you know?
Mohammed says, Afzal, what about Cedric? He's fit.
Give him a chance. I mean, he's never played a game for Arsenal, so why not give him a chance and let's see how he goes.
What do you think of him? He's looked decent when he's been at Southampton.
He was, yeah. Like the things I've seen with him, he's been decent. I mean, he's won the Euros with Portugal. He is a decent player, but let's see how he goes. I mean, there was a reason Southampton let go of him, but we can give him a chance, you know. Okay.
Juho says criticism is the key to improvement. All right. So, and Zwei says Afzal and Robbie, Ainsley Maitland-Niles is one of our best composed midfielders we have on the team, and the boy has flair on the ball. Maybe he deserves a game time to fight for that CM role. And in that friendly, he did play in midfield. I think that's, how can he? I don't know. He's only really played 1 or 2 games in that role for Arsenal, so it's hard to say, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I like Niles more as a midfielder than a defender because as a defender, he's been heavily exposed certain times. For example, I remember Watford away where he got completely exposed in right back. But, I mean, like I said, Robbie, we don't have great choices anywhere around the pitch, so we should give him a chance in midfield as well.
Okay. This guy says, hi, Robbie. Hope you're having a good night. Thank you. I am. He said, would you and Afzal rather not have Europe next season to focus on the league or be in the Europa League again to finally try and win it?
I don't like the Europa League. I'd rather not be in the Europa League, to be honest. But if we're in there, we're in there. And, you know, I mean, I don't like the league at all.
I think it's a crap competition, but it does give the young players a chance. I mean, I think I was asked this a few days ago, and I said, you know what, let's just be out of it. Leicester won the league, not being in it. Chelsea won the league, not being in it. But then, having said that, it does give our chance to our young players. So this guy here, Streetback, said, did I miss the Özil Afzal beef? He hasn't even mentioned Özil tonight.
Exactly. I'm not going to.
But I did notice that you left Özil out of that starting 11 for that.
Yeah, of course, Robbie. When has he turned up at a big away game? Has he ever turned up at a big away game as an Arsenal player? He never has.
This could be the one.
We've never won a big away game with since Özil's been at Arsenal. In fact, we won 2. Sorry, we won at Tottenham. We've won 2 big away games since in the last 7 years, right? Since Özil in Arsenal, 2 away in the Big 6. We won 2 away games. That was at Spurs away March 2014 and City away Jan 2015. Özil didn't start any of those games.
He's got his photographic memory on again. I don't know if people know this, right? We know this with Afzal, that anybody who knows him, that he just remembers stuff. You ain't got that written down, have you?
I've got nothing written down. I remember it all.
He always remembers all this. You know what? I'm going to test you. Wait a minute. Let me think of something. Wait a minute. All right, 1 second. 1 second. Everyone bear with me a second, right? I'm going on Google it. I'm going to find something because this guy's photographic memory, I can never just understand how he does it. You ready for a test?
Yeah.
Look, he's up for it as well, right? Right, let me see. I'm trying to find something. I'm trying to find somewhere where I can find an old game. Let me find something. Bear with me, everybody here. Bear with me. I can't. You know, because I'm trying to find it on the spot. I mean, I'll just ask you randomly. Who scored? What was the result in the? Oh, I'm trying to think of something hard for him, man. What was the result? What was I trying to think? You know what? Let me get everybody out there. Like everybody out there, what I want you to do is like find some things like ask Afzal what was the result in a certain game, recent games, and who scored.
1990 something or something like that.
Yeah, so like games within the last 3 years, what was the result and who scored in Arsenal's games, right? Because this guy, his memory, he always he just reels off stuff, and I'm like, how did you remember that? He's always does that. Who scored the goal when Arsenal led Liverpool 5-1?
It was actually February the 8th, 2014. We lost 5-1. Arteta scored it. Jesus. It was 2014. We lost 5-1.
So he's got it right. It was actually 2000. No, he's got it wrong. It was actually 2014.
Feb 2014. We were actually top of the league at the time.
Jeez. All right, here's another one. Abe says, who was Arsenal's top scorer in the last decade?
But that's last decade. Won't be Van Persie because he left in 2012. Might be not Aubameyang. He's been there 3 years. Maybe Theo Walcott in the last decade, 10 years. Probably Theo Walcott.
I'm not even sure if that's the answer.
Yeah, that's like just a quiz. That's a test. That one.
Yeah. Probably. That was his first goal.
His first assist was Sunderland when we beat them 3-1 in September 2013. So his first goal was, I remember his first assist was 3-1 when he did it to Giroud. His first goal was, I'm just trying to go lecture results from that season.
You're prepping for results.
Hull. Was it Hull? Was it when we beat Hull 2-0?
Well, I don't know. You're asking me.
I don't know.
Oh, all right. Dr. Vero says first goal Napoli against Napoli.
I thought you meant league, Premier League. Oh, okay, Champions League. All right. That was October when we beat them 2-0. October.
Right. Afzal, who scored in the 3-3 against Liverpool?
Giroud scored the 2 goals, and Ramsey scored 1. Jesus. Jan 2016.
I don't know. Does it? Anyone else got one? John says, name me the Latvian defender who played for Arsenal.
I go Stefan. Was he Stefanos? Was he Latvian? Was he Latvian? No, Swiss. I don't know, Latvian. I don't know.
But he's more. Those are more quiz ones. He's what it is with him. What I'm trying to say, right, with Afzal, he just remembers stuff. Like he'll remember all the goal scorers, the the date of the game, and that. I'm like, how do you do that? How do you remember that? It just doesn't. I'm like, it's unbelievable. Have you always had that ability?
Yeah, I've had since I was young. Yeah, thanks.
So you was at school, you could just like remember everything.
To be honest, when it comes to exams, I'm not that great compared to this. But when it comes to like anything that happened in my life like years ago, I just remember the date, you know, that sort of thing.
So what was the date of the Europa League final last year?
29th May.
29th of May.
Yeah.
What date did we play? All right, I know I can test you on one. Let me find. What? I'm testing him tonight, man. Let me see because
Robbie, you should get me up against DT. He'll take a big L.
No, he's. I know your memory because I've been at games and you've just been reading stuff off, and I've just been like, how does this guy remember this? I've just been like, no, that's ridiculous how he remembered that. Right, so I'm going to, all right, let me reel a couple to you. So, what was the score when we played Bournemouth this season, and on what day was the game?
We beat them 1-0.
Sorry, the away game.
Boxing Day, 26 December, 1-1. Aubameyang scored.
Jesus. All right. Right. What was the date of the game when we played West Ham away, and the score?
9th December, 3-1 Arsenal.
Jesus. All right. What was the date when we played Victoria SC away, and the score in the Europa League? That's a hard one.
It was 1-1 when they scored at the end. It was 6th November.
How do you know that?
Okay. No, I just remember.
All right. What was the date of the game when we played Manchester United away when we drew 1-1?
30th September.
Ah, correct. All right. The date of the 2-2 draw against Tottenham this season.
31st August.
Oh, we missed that one. No, wrong.
1st September. 1st September. My bad. 1st September.
Yeah, 1st September. Right.
Okay.
All right. I've got a difficult one for you now. The date when we played Lyon in the Emirates Cup. What was that date?
I don't even know the Emirates Cup. Jeez.
So you don't remember it because you didn't see the game. All right.
Wait, but I'll figure out when the Emirates Cup was. So the first league of this, it would have been around the Emirates Cup was then. So I'm just trying to. Was it around the 27th, 28th of July? 28th July.
28th of July. How does he know that?
Because
Right. Final one. Date when we played Frankfurt away and the score.
Frankfurt away 3-0, and that was in September, and it was on a Thursday. So it was like, was it on the 19th of September?
Jeez. How does he remember that? How can you? Wow, that is some memory, man. That is some memory. Afzal, thank you very much for coming on tonight, mate. It's been brilliant. Thank you very much. And we'll be talking of course, to you once the season starts back. And remember, keep it here on AFTV. We're gonna have some great fan interviews and coverage of all of Arsenal's last 10 games and also games in the FA Cup. We got to get him as our statistician or something, man. I mean, that memory is unreal.
Thanks, Robbie.
That Victoria one done my head in. But listen, thanks a lot, Afzal. Thank you very much for coming on today. Thanks everybody for watching. Sorry?
Thanks for having me on. Every time,
every time. We'll be back in the morning.